Hi, John Dwyer, and welcome to module number 6 of our WOW Manifesto Client Attraction Program. And this is all about events. It's all about doing events. And if you're not doing events, then hopefully after you watch this video module, you'll think long and hard about it. Now, keep in mind, like all of our modules, you have the written blueprint that you can actually just download and see a whole lot of samples of how I've showcased events so that you can just swipe those ideas and use them for your own business. Why would you do events? Well, the great thing with events is that, attendees are normally warm. So therefore, if you've invited people to come along to your seminar or perhaps to your tapas dinner, they're coming because they're hopefully half interested in what you've got to explain to them. Now, they may or may not sort of believe that you're going to flog something to them at the end of that event. Chances are they will expect that, because I don't think they're expecting you to put on a tapas dinner without hopefully showcasing your products or your services and making an offer. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that when people come to events, more than likely they're warm prospects. Second thing is, people love events. We all like going to the opening of a brand new theatre. We like going to a dinner. My view is that if you are going to hold an event, probably dinner. This is offline, by the way. We'll talk about online events in a moment. But if you're going to hold a bricks and mortar event, I believe an evening event is the way to go. I do hold myself full day seminars. I'm doing more webinars and podcasts and live casts these days. However, traditionally, people in the coaching game will hold a seminar. And that seminar does go all day. It goes from 9 through to 5, and there's plenty of people still coming to my events that are willing to give up a day to learn all of the stuff that you're getting on this program. And I'm able to still fill rooms for 7 or 8 hours throughout that day. However, if you haven't built up the repertoire that I've got, and maybe you're not feeling comfortable talking for 8 hours in front of people, then if you've got to choose a time of the day to do an offline event, choose the evening. Let me tell you about the online world. Let me see what I've got here. Okay, it's selling once to many. Before I get on to the online thing, I've jumped ahead of myself. It's just about selling once to many. And it makes sense. If you want to scale your business, you don't want to sell one-on-one all the time, unless you're charging an unbelievably hourly rate. You want to sell once to many. Examples are gardening expos, travel expos, pet expos, food and wine expos. I've been through all of that with you. Furniture store, I told you about that, breaks the record for the high tea. I jumped ahead of myself with the slides here, I'm sorry about that. Our travel company, now I've got to tell you this one. Travel agency came on board my private coaching program, and the lady who owned this business, her name was Denise, and I said to her, why don't you go through your database and select people who you think would be perhaps future travellers and who would spend a lot of money with you, and invite them to a slap-up dinner, or at least a tapas dinner. So that's what she did. She went through a database and she chose mainly seniors who had been on these river cruises through Europe. And she invited them to a slap-up dinner at a very nice location. I was the MC for the evening. I did the right thing by them because they were a private client. And as it turned out, there was, I forget now, but maybe 80 or 90 people in the room, which would be 45, 50 couples. And the river cruise company got up and did a 15-minute presentation of what the river cruises were looking at in the next 6 months and all this sort of stuff. Cut a long story short, the tourism company that did the river boat cruises throughout Europe put in $3,500. The travel agent client of mine put in $3,500. So the whole event cost $7,000 to put on. Guess what? After the presentation from the river cruise company, they took that night $200,000 in sales. Keep in mind the whole event only cost $7,000, of which half was paid by my client. And then within 2 weeks thereafter, because of all of the inquiries that came for that night, they had topped $500,000 in sales. So we're talking about an expenditure, an investment by my travel agent client of $3,500 on the dinner, and she took over $500,000 in sales within the next few weeks. I have that on video. She gave me a lovely testimonial. So therefore, consider doing webinars, and they're relatively straightforward to do. Now, there's certainly a design format that you need to follow, and if you need any help with that, then obviously you can post that on our Facebook page, and I can help you in that regard, because that's what our Facebook club is all about. But yeah, look, once you do a webinar, you'll keep on doing them, I can assure you, because I'm pretty confident that you'll get pretty excited about the prospects. Even if you stuff it up first time around, the fact that you've done a webinar and you're selling once to 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 150 or 450 people, I think you're going to see that there's a trend there that you can actually, really improve upon as you do more webinars. So if you said to me, what was the timing of a webinar? How long should it go for? Test and measure, okay, or test and fix. Some webinars do very, very well in just 20 minutes. Some are 30, some are 45, some are 60. In my case, I do a lot of them, and we trial 30 versus 45 minutes versus 60 minutes versus 90 minutes. We do all sorts of different times for our webinars, and we work out which ones get most traction for what particular audience. Another one, of course, is podcasts, and podcasts is just basically your own radio show. That's what it is. And again, if you need any assistance with regards to that, then obviously post any questions you have on the Facebook page. And one of the really, really, really potent forms of holding an event is a Facebook live broadcast. Okay, and that's just powerful, powerful stuff. I held a live seminar event in a capital city here in Australia not so long ago, and it ran from 6 to 8:30. And in the room I had around about 70 something attendees who were business owners or managers of businesses, and we decided to do a Facebook Live of that event. Now it ran from 6 through to 8:30, so that's a pretty long Facebook Live. But people are home from work and hopefully they've got some time. So what we did is that we just spent about $200, I think it was about $200, on boosting some Facebook posts to tell people that they could watch on Facebook Live this 2.5-hour event. And I think probably maximum we spent was a couple $100. So we put out a couple of pay-per-click ads just 48 hours out, and we put out some newsfeed posts on Facebook and Instagram, and we just boosted those. Guess what? 10 minutes into the seminar that I was doing for a live audience of 70 odd people, the camera guy that we had with my iPhone came up to me and said, have a look at this. And there was a video playing at the time, so I had time off from the audience, and I looked at nearly 400 people. Like 10 minutes into my seminar that we were broadcasting via Facebook Live, we had nearly 400 people on that broadcast. And thankfully, my stuff must be reasonably engaging, because throughout the 2 and a bit hours that we ran the event, our numbers in terms of Facebook Live went between 280 and 350. Okay, so we lost a few people because they can't hang around for 2 hours, but to get 280 to 350 people hang in there with you for 2 hours shows that your content must be reasonably engaging. And guess what? At the end of that Facebook Live, we made an offer of a program. We took $55,000 just over in sales over the Facebook Live sort of audience. So the people watching on Facebook, forget what we sold to the room in terms of coaching program, we took $55,000 by lunchtime the next day from people who were watching on Facebook Live. That's money for jam. That's income that wouldn't have been there had we not decided to spend a couple of $100 lousy on broadcasting my live seminar via Facebook Live. So seriously, even if you're holding a live event, if it happens to be a seminar, you might like to Facebook Live that at the same time. You can easily do that by just putting an ad in one of the online recruitment sites and asking for a uni student that's been doing a video course to come along and hold their phone in front of you for half an hour, whatever it might be. Okay, I don't suggest you would Facebook Live a high tea. I don't think you're going to keep people engaged over that, but I think you know what I mean. So therefore, events, it's all about selling once to many and taking advantage of today's technology so that many could be quite a number of people. Now, let me tell you what's coming up in our next module. This is all about, oh my goodness, this is a good one. You wouldn't expect me to say anything else. Video testimonials. In my next module, it's all about showing you how to capture the right video testimonials and how to use them to your advantage, particularly on the homepage of your website. So hopefully you'll see us in, that would be module, what is that? That's module number 7. And by the way, again, if I can just remind you that you have a whole bunch of resources and information and basically case study swipes that you can grab from the blueprint for this particular module. So therefore download the blueprint and grab more information about events from that. Thanks for joining us.